you will get a version of this in the recap email. So this is almost going to be like your Art of Homeownership Bible. So if nothing else, these are the things, wherever you want to focus your strategy for 2023, you should be able to find it here. So really talking through, and Jared, I'll pause at some points to just let you kind of chime in if I'm missing something, or you can add to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we really have been looking at the activities and who is seeing a lot of success with Art of Homeownership and introducing it to their clients. And these are the best practices or things that those users have been doing. So when you think about seeing success as an Art of Homeownership mortgage professional, as a team lead or a loan officer, there are really three things that you should really nail down in order to start to see that baseline success with AOH. So number one, you want to be able to log into your FinLocker admin account and know how to navigate it. So even if you have someone else on your team managing it, I think it's really important for the team lead and the loan officer to just have a general knowledge of what the dashboard looks like, what insights you can see there. You can see, if that client chooses to share information with you, you can see the activities that they're doing that might warrant a call from your team or whatever it may be. So that is item number one. And then you also want, off of number one, you want to make sure that all of your members on your team have a baseline understanding of Art of Homeownership. And I think more importantly, why it's important for them to be talking about it in conversations with clients whenever they have that opportunity. And I mean, it's kind of low hanging fruit, but I would have everyone on your team be downloading the app and actually use it and engage with it on a consistent basis, because it's going to mean a lot more, because when you're talking to someone else about it, you can tell them the ways that you use it. And I think it resonates a lot more. Jared, would you add anything to that?
No, I think that's fine, Val. I think that, what you really want to do is be able to, and, in the next, let's say 1 to 2 or 3 months, is really establish, based off what your best characteristic traits are and how you can best implement that, and basically make your own sort of playbook as to how you can implement this, if that makes sense, Val.
Right.
Because everyone has their strengths and weaknesses, and where they shine most. And that's what's great about our platform, is that there's so much to offer that you can really tailor it and implement it and deliver it in a way that's basically suits your best sales practice, sales skills as well.
Right. Yeah, and there's so many different ways that you can take it, which is what we're going to get into a little bit here. So it's really about deciding what you want to focus on and then moving in that direction. And point number 3 is have a consistent process with all clients to enroll them in the app. So this really comes into play when you're talking about the loan process. So it's at what points are we having which conversations with our clients about Art of Homeownership and our value proposition? Because it's more than just the app, obviously, as all of you know. And I think that's why a lot of people buy into Art of Homeownership and really get excited about it, is more of the mindset and the way of serving clients and that long-term advice. That is what you want to really push. And the app is kind of a means to an end, if you will. So those are the 3 things. Log into your FinLocker admin account. I would also add to that, make sure that you are engaging with it on a consistent basis yourself and you know how it works, because that's just it's gonna mean a lot more. It's gonna resonate with your clients. Make sure all of the members of your team have a baseline understanding of why it's important, and then have that consistent process with all clients so that it's uniform. They're all getting the same experience. It's kind of like a plug and play, if you will. And you'll see here when you get this in the recap email, all of these are clickable links. So we have, whether it's YouTube videos, scripting, a lot of the links will go to the partner portal. So you will have to log in. And then in that file repository section, there will be the initial dreams and goals call script, the social media posts. So just make sure that when you're clicking on these links and going to the partner portal, you look in that file repository, and a lot of the information will be in there. So getting into the Art of Homeownership loan process. So Pinky, this is where it might start to answer your question. I'll bring you in to just kind of work through anything else. Jared?
Oh, I just wanted to, before you continue, Val, I just wanted, anyone that has spoken with me personally is I usually lead a lot of our calls with, asking why you adopted art of homeownership, or, why you maybe are with Neo. And the reason is because you want to, what we do is different, and you want to be different than everyone else in the industry. And so what we're selling is a much different product than just debt. That is just a small piece of the pie of service that we offer. And so it's really important to understand that this is not just a, post transaction tool that you can pass along. And this is something that you can introduce maybe even from the first phone conversation. So um it's really important to, as Val was going, understand, getting a baseline understanding of all the ways that you can use this is so crucial.
Yeah, absolutely, Jared. And Pinky just put in the chat. Personally, I try to use the app and have trouble. It logs me out. If you're ever having if you see glitches or anything like that, please send them over to our team, because we can really we work closely with the FinLocker team. So if anything does happen like that, they're pretty good about figuring it out and figuring out why it's happening. So anything like that, please send it over to our team, and then we'll pass it along to troubleshoot and make sure everything is working effectively. So the art of homeownership loan process. Now, this can really be different based on the mortgage advisor. You can really tailor this to however you go about doing business. This is not a one size fits all. So feel free to, change it however you will, or make it work for you and your team. But kind of the baseline or the general process that we like to follow is step one, you're going to have that initial dreams and goals call. So this is going to be the initial call, or we also have soon after, because sometimes you get a client that maybe they came, maybe they were an online lead that you got, and you have that initial conversation, and maybe you call them and they're running errands, or it's not a good time for them to talk. So maybe that first call is scheduling the initial dreams and goals call. This one can really be over the phone, or it can be Zoom, just based on personal preference. But this is going to be following the initial dreams and goals call script, which we have linked in here. And that will be a high level review of the value proposition. So how you're going to be a long-term advisor, not just closing the loan and leaving them in the dust. At this point, we don't see a lot of people getting really deep into the nitty gritty, because it can be a little overwhelming for the client. So this is where you just want to give them, again, that high level review of why you're valuable. So you're still, quote unquote, selling them on your value. We don't like to use the word sell, but you're just telling them why you're valuable, but you're asking them a lot of questions that no one else is asking. So you're asking them what their future plans are for real estate, what their goals are. And you can intake these answers right on the initial dreams and goals call form. And you're really not doing a whole lot of advising during this step. You're just asking the questions. Make sure at the end to just say, do you have any initial questions, and tell them what the process will be like. So, on the next call, we will take all this information and we will present to you the client consultation, where we walk you through your different options, give you any advice any initial advice that we have. But that step one is really going to be asking the right questions. And then the second step is going to be the client consultation, which, like I said, this is where you're actually advising them or giving them any input on the information that they gave you in step one. This one we would recommend holding over Zoom rather than a phone call. As most of you know, it's a lot more personal. They get to see your face. It just means a lot more. And in addition to that, this is where you're going to actually show them visually what Art of Homeownership is, what the app can do, and how they can leverage it. And we highly recommend, again, that visual of what it looks like, because it's going to be a lot more likely that they engage with it and use it if they know what it does, why they should use it, why it's valuable. It's just really impactful when they actually see that. A lot of the questions that we get on that when we say visually show them are how to visually show them, whether you're walking through the app in real time or whatever that may be. We've seen, again, this is personal preference. We've seen some people have a presentation with different screenshots of the different features of the app. We do have a dummy account, and we will send that out as well with the recap. There's login information where you can just have the Art of Homeownership app to walk a client through, where it's not your own personal information. So that is the client consultation where you're actually giving them the advice. And then after they fill out the application, they start the process, you're going to have a contract meeting. So the offer is accepted, they get access to Updater. At this point, again, it can be different for everyone, depends if it's a purchase client or a refinance. If they need Updater, if you introduced it sooner, that can really be up to you. And then Danny always talks about this, and I think it's really impactful, is review future refinance opportunities. So you're almost planning out the next 2 transactions with them during that first one. So you're anticipating that they're going to use you again. So it's okay, once we hit, the market hits this, we can talk about refinancing and getting you in a lower rate whenever it makes sense for you, et cetera. So you almost want to set yourself up for those future transactions. During the contract meeting, you're also reiterating the value that you'll be providing them. So you're giving them the facts and figures of their loan and that information, but you also just want to keep hitting home. We are here to advise you long-term. So when that next refinance opportunity comes, we want to be on top of it. We want to let you know when that is. I think that makes people feel comfortable with you, especially because a lot of people in this industry are not doing anything close to that. Jared, anything you would add up to this point? Okay. And then step 4 is going to be the post-close call, which arguably could be the most important part of the process. So during this post-close call, you might have another member of your team doing this. You as the loan officer might be doing it as well. But this one, you once again want to show them visually what the client is getting access to. So the more that they see it and the more that they realize what it can do for them, the more likely they are to engage with it. And then obviously that just benefits you in the long run. So walk them through the app. At this point, they might have already gotten access. So maybe if they are engaging with it, ask them, do you have any questions? Are you having any trouble with the app? Whatever that may be. So ask them, how they're enjoying it, if they're liking it, and just encourage that engagement a little more. And then also set expectations as far as the communication that they're going to get from you. So when you'll be reaching out next, when they can expect to hear from you. Obviously welcome them reaching out to you at any point if they have questions. And then that's really setting you up for that. If this is kind of an optional, this is above and beyond, but a 3, 6, and 12-month follow-up meeting. A lot of the time, if you have someone on your team, they're really designated for this specific role. So they are calling the client at 3 months to just say, hey, are you having any trouble, with payments, or make sure that they're comfortable and know what they're doing on that front. And then the 6 and 12-month follow-up are going to be, obviously that 6 month is how are you liking the home, check in with them, see how they're doing as far as financial goals, if you had that conversation with them. And the 12-month then will really be that annual financial review. We should have that as step 5 actually, but the annual financial review is going to be a little more impactful and really going through again, okay, we did the initial dreams and goals call, and this is what you told me your goals are for, the next year or next few years. How are we on that timeline to reaching those goals? So you want to be checking in and really helping them accomplish those goals that they're setting, because I think it's very easy to say, I want to own 6 rental properties in the next 2 years, and then you're not really doing anything to move the needle and work towards that goal. So obviously helping them is going to be very impactful. Jared.
Yeah, I also believe that during these, the 3, 6, and 12-month follow-ups are huge opportunities to, confirm and encourage them to engage with the app. Like, you want to check in, hey, did you have any questions on Homebinder? Were you able to make all the uploads on the documents in Homebinder? Have you started to even, I know you just moved, or were you able to schedule something that you want to do in this, the next 12 to 18 months? or any component of the app you really want to, that's applicable to them, depending on whether in their home ownership journey and the relationship with you. But this is an opportunity to, just, stay, make it muscle memory to, give them a run through the app and make sure that they are utilizing all the services that are applicable to them, because that's going to keep them engaged over time, even after 12 months, and, whether it's 18 months or 24 months or 36 months. And those are huge opportunities for them to, again, stay engaged, because the more that they're engaging with the app, the more that, it's going to strengthen the relationship you have with them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to take a minute and stop sharing. I do want to bring Pinky in, just to make sure that we covered everything and see if there's any follow-up questions. Hi, Pinky.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. So I guess as far as follow-up questions, I'm still, I guess, not 100% clear, because what we do, I'll tell you what we do, and then maybe you can tell me how to modify it, if anything, okay. Right? So our process right now is definitely post-closing, everybody gets entered into Art of Homeownership, right? Once they close, we send it in and, it gets added. And so I don't see most of those people download. And I think the way that I know if they downloaded the app is I get that alert from FinLocker, right? That's how I know that somebody's downloaded the app. Is that correct?
Yeah. So when you go into FinLocker, your admin dashboard, you should be able to see when they accepted the invites. And then you might also be getting like a push notification as well. I'm not sure what they have set up there.
Okay. Do you mind sending me my login? Because I don't even know how to log into that FinLocker thing.
Sure.
So maybe that would be helpful.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. I thought it was every time, because I remember I got one of those FinLocker things. The first time I got it, I sent it back to, like, when the app came out, and I said, what is this? I sent it back to Art of Homeownership. I'm like, is this what it is? And they said, yes. So I thought that, and so I don't get very many of those push notifications that people are signing up. So that's, okay. It was under that premise that I'm thinking that a lot of people aren't taking advantage of the app features, right?
Yeah.
So that's one. And then the other, so that definitely happens then. The other time we do it is up front. So when we have a conversation with the client, and it's, we tell them about the Art of Homeownership right up front in the initial conversation. Sometimes they tell us they're not ready yet. We were introduced by a client and they want to either do a quick consultation or they don't even want to do the consultation. We still tell them about the Art of Homeownership at that stage and say, hey, we've got this great resource for you. It's an app that'll help you prepare for home ownership. It's a free resource for you. I'm gonna either I sign them up on the website, or if I don't have enough information or they don't give me the permission to do so, then I send them the link and ask them to sign up. Mm-hmm. So and then if they tell us, like, for example, right now we're calling some, of the leads that we've had throughout the year that didn't convert, and asking them if they want to, if they're ready now, if they want to start the process again in the new year. And if they're telling us they're still not ready yet for whatever reason, or they're working on their credit, we're telling them again about the Art of Homeownership and saying, here's a resource for you to use. Yeah. So those are ways that we're currently talking about Art of Homeownership. And as I said, I don't see many people actually taking advantage of it. So I was thinking that maybe we're not doing something well in the way we're serving it up.
Yeah. So a few pieces that I would maybe try to implement. Number one is, I know that we do the new close loans with our team. So whenever those loans close, and maybe you have your CRM set up a certain way where it's automatically sending them into Art of Homeownership. But I think there is value in introducing it sooner. So in the first few meetings, you could have in whether you're doing a presentation or whatever that may be, you're saying, hey, here's a link. If you just enter a few pieces of information, you will automatically get that, the drip campaigns, and you'll be able to utilize this app. And you could be transparent with them and say, I want you to get in there and start using it, so that as we have meetings moving forward throughout the loan process, if there's anything that I can answer or help you, navigate the app at all, I'm at least here and we're having those conversations. So it's just getting them familiar with it while you're still in that loan process, and it's still, they're excited about it. They want to use it. And then also the visual piece of it, I think, is really impactful. And I've heard from other, what we call Art of Homeownership power users, that they're doing that throughout the process and they're showing them what the app looks like, rather than just telling them over the phone. I think that it just kind of seems more real and less, maybe intimidating is the word, to jump in and use it when you're seeing what it looks like and you're seeing what it can do. So I would say that I think the visual part of it would be the most impactful.
Okay, those are good suggestions. And you mentioned the dummy account that we can go into, because I wanted to do that, but then it had all my, I followed the steps of importing. I was like, well, I can't show this. It has all my information on it. So if there's a dummy account, that would be great for us to be able to use that too. Or if you already have screenshots that you've probably already taken of it, that we can use also. Both, I guess, both would be helpful. Like, here are the visuals that are most impact, like that you said these power users are using. Here are the visuals that they're sharing. If we could have access to those, that would be probably even one step ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. We've made just a branded kind of basic, like, these are the features of the app and along with the screenshots. So we can actually send out that whole slide deck as well. So if you want to it could be a quick run through with your clients. You don't have to go really in depth, but that could be helpful as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, and as you said, it won't be the whole thing. So I do that pre-purchase consultation, and so I definitely bring it up, in that conversation as well. And then in the post-closing, I remind them about it and tell them that we have, this is one of the benefits. I told you about it up front, but now I'm going to tell you all the details about it. So I do it in that place as well. So I feel like I'm severing it up a lot, but there's clearly something that they're not using.
Sorry. Yeah. And it's so, with consumers, like, I think about myself, if someone's telling me about an app, we're so, there's
so many apps being thrown at us, right?
Right. Yeah. So it's, if someone is really, you have to just set the expectations really well and tell them how important it is, and kind of show them, like, long-term, this is what could be happening for you. If you're setting these milestones and you're following the process, you can reach those goals and kind of get them excited about the future. I think that helps a lot as well.
Yep.
Jared, would you add anything to that? I know you have some pretty good insight when it comes to, like, implementing and having those conversations with clients.
Yeah, we can also set aside some time to, scenario play. And what I can do is, I can basically be a pretend client, because I have, strategies on, depending on, where the client is at, whether the first time they're calling you or, it's 18 months down the road, there is a conversation to have with them delivering this. So I think that it just depends on each, where the client is at and how you can, how the app can best serve them. And even if it's, just using the accounts and the budgeting, that's okay. Or even if it's just using the moving service, that's okay. Because, I know, even then, you mentioned, there's a lot to it, and you don't want to overwhelm them, and you don't want to, force them. And there's a way to deliver it in a way that this is you're the mortgage professional, you're serving them. And this is not just like your catch, that they're never going to use. So we can work, one-on-one on how to make these, these strategies like muscle memory with all your clients, whether they're, 6 months out or you just hopped on phone the first time. Is that helpful?
Yeah, absolutely. And if it's okay, I'd actually like to have my team on it, because that's the other thing, is that it's not just me. So I need to make sure that
absolutely. It should be just like muscle memory as to, if depending on, what situation they're in or where they're at, you have, the scripting and the muscle, like I said a bunch of times now, the muscle memory onto how to, guide them to get engaged. Because, the more that you can engage with them, that's basically staying in touch with them, in a scalable way. And, no matter how large or small your client base is, for anyone here, that it's a way to literally stay in touch with your clients and keep your clients engaged and really have a relationship with them that's not just 3, 6, and 12 months. Have a relationship with them, no matter where they are.
Absolutely. Yeah, that sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Thanks, Pinky. And we will, at the end, Jared, if you want to have your scheduling link ready, we will send that out for anyone who wants to schedule that one-on-one time with Jared.
Do you want to just include that in the email?
Yep. Yeah, so feel free to take advantage of that. Jared's great, and he will, whatever you need will kind of cater to you. Whether you need that kind of role play and you just want to script it out, or you just need more technical like implementation strategies, Jared can work through that with you in one of those sessions. Also in the Q&A, Stephen is asking, I have a lot of questions from realtors about co-branding. Is there anything available for that now, or is it on the radar for the near future? I don't know that I can speak to if it's on the radar or not for the actual app co-branding. What you can visually show them is, I know this isn't as impactful for them, but on the back end of things, I mean, you can really have your clients coming in and it's very clear which realtor they were working with. So just show them that you have that on the back end and show them all the features of the app that the clients can use. So if you're really pushing the benefits of it and all those touch points, it just shows that when the client comes back to you as the mortgage professional, you have the ability to see, oh, that came from XYZ realtor, and those clients are coming back to them. So it's really enough stickiness for them as well. The only other thing that you could offer is co-branding marketing materials and having them push from their side as well. So they're offering it to their clients. And I mean, they're doing it for you, but they're still benefiting off of it, if their clients are enrolling in that. So I would say marketing is probably your biggest opportunity to co-brand with them and try to get some of their clients on the app. It could be on the roadmap. I just don't, I don't know the future of the app and what they're working on. David is asking, I have a PDF that highlights some of the features of the app platform a few months back. Do you have a more recent one that shows more detail? Yes. We have a presentation that I will, like I said, I'll send out with a recap. So you guys can have an actual slide deck to run through. And if there's anything that you're looking for, if you would prefer just a PDF document, we can make that work too, whatever you would like. Okay, then, Jared, anything I missed before I keep going here?
No, I think, and like I said, I'm happy, anyone on the call or, pass the word around for any of our partners. I'm happy to schedule some one-on-one time to, hone in on any component of this that, you really want to sharpen as we enter the new year.
Cool. I like it. Okay. So moving on here. So the next part of it is going to be, I know we've really are like kicking a dead horse here, but how to enroll your clients in Art of Homeownership. I just want to review this one more time because there was some confusion around it. So again, just having that consistent process with your clients is important. So I would really choose one or the other. If there are moments when maybe you're at a family barbecue and someone wants to download the app and you just give them your invite code so they can enter it and be in the app, cool, that's fine. But I would say with your clients, when you're following this process, choose one of these options that works best for you and go with it. So option number one is going to be the link version of the Art of Homeownership app invite. So they're going to get a link and they will go on and fill out a form. And then they will be entered into the Art of Homeownership app. So the benefit of that is they will then also be in your CRM, and they'll get the drip campaigns after that will give them instructions on how to download. And then their account is created. So they don't even need that mobile invite code. That is going to be option number two. So there was some confusion around that, like when they're downloading the app and then trying to access it, there's no place for them to put the mobile invite code. That's because their account's already created. So they just need those credentials that they entered in step one, and they'll be good to go with the mobile app as well. And then option number two is going to be that mobile invite code. So that's when they download the app from the App Store, and they will have an opportunity to enter that specific invite code. So they're tied to your account. And then in that case, they'll be on the back end of your FinLocker account, but not necessarily in your CRM. So it's just a matter of how you're keeping track of past clients, your personal preference. But I would say if you really want a really strong process, I would say go with option one so that they're in your CRM. You don't have to worry about anything along those lines. And then ways to generate leads with Art of Homeownership. So I know a lot of this business, you want to think long term and you want to say, okay, this is just a way that I'm forming my business to be good to my clients, to be that long term advisor. But also, you want to try to get that those quick results, and you want to see the quick wins from it, and that's natural. I think it's going to be a little bit of a balance of both, but the latter, getting those instant results, is going to require some real intentionality and some effort on your end of things. So step number one, I think, is really the first part that we went over, is knowing that app and engaging with it and making sure that you're confident in it, because the more that you're sold on the app, the easier it's going to be to get others to buy in. So again, like Pinky had mentioned, she was having some glitches with the app. Please reach out to us if anything like that is happening, so we can make sure to figure that out so that it's not happening to clients as well. But once you really get in and everything is working smoothly, you want to really be confident with it. So number one is going to be realtor meetings. So we have the realtor pitch slide deck. We have updated slide decks for all of the app materials, and it caters to each of the demographics that you're pitching to. And then we also have the corporate affiliations. So I encourage you, in the, if we're going back to the loan process, really it's going to be that post-close call where you're saying, is there anyone else that you know that could benefit from having a tool like this, or having that long-term advice? Because it's really, that's asking for a referral without asking for a referral. And in that case, you want to say, ask them about their job if you haven't already throughout the process. And if you're able, because this is really how Ryan ended up getting in with Facebook, ask them if they have a contact at HR. You just say, I want to offer this app to anyone that I can. It's really not, you're not trying to be salesy with them. You're just offering help. So it makes it a much easier close. So when you're having those conversations, try to see if they have a contact at someone at their company, and then you can take advantage of the corporate affiliations. And we also have the slide deck that is available for you. As David had mentioned, I know he was asking for some flyers and marketing materials. This is going to lead you to a course in the partner portal. I think it's along the lines of implementing Art of Homeownership in your marketing. If you go down to that file repository, there's a zip file of, I would say, like 20 to 25 different marketing graphics and materials. If there's, again, anything that you would like to see specifically, just shoot me an email, shoot me a message, and we can get that created for you. And then financial advisor partnerships, also pretty self-explanatory. A lot of these are going to be pretty consistent messaging. It's just catering to who you're talking to. So from a financial advisor standpoint, you're really selling them on the fact that you're that long-term advisor that will help people maximize their wealth and generate more money, which obviously is going to be an easy sell for a financial advisor because they want people with more money. So Danny, even this is going to lead you to a session with Danny where he's talking about generating partnerships with financial advisors. And I think it's really important to note that it's not always an exchange of leads with a financial advisor. You can have, I think, 2 to 3, I think, is the norm for mortgage professionals, but there's really no limit to how many you could just partner with and be working with their clients to help them generate more money. So I think that's an important distinction. Danny articulates it really well in that session. Jared, anything to add here? Okay, so the last thing that we want to go over, this is really summarizing and taking it from a high level. These are the common practices of Art of Homeownership power users. So the things that we see happening on a regular basis with people that are really using it at a high level, implementing in their business, and they have that consistent process with their clients. So the first 3 are going to be the must-haves. Those are the baseline. This is what you should be doing in order to really implement Art of Homeownership. Number 1 is going to be submitting your initial database. That's pretty, I think it's pretty obvious, but that would be when you first start with Art of Homeownership. So making sure that those past clients that you've worked with before, you're introducing this to them. It's a great touch point if you haven't been in touch in a while, getting all of the people to adopt Art of Homeownership and get them in the app. And then number 2 will be, again, submitting your new closed loans on a regular basis. So anytime that, you close with a client, at the end of that week, sending it into our team, making sure that we are uploading those clients. Introducing the app early and often. So, we kind of went through this before in this webinar, just having that process of talking about it and having those different touch points throughout your loan process. So anytime that you can just articulate and drive home how much of an advisor you're going to be, the tools that they'll have access to, showing them visually, the more that you can do that, obviously you don't want to overwhelm them and be, overdo it, but just working it into multiple conversations, it's going to increase the likelihood that the consumer is going to engage with it. Enrolling prospects in the app. So it doesn't have to be, and like Pinky was talking about, if they have those people that they talked to earlier in the year that might not have been ready to buy or sell or refinance, still enrolling them in the app. So whether it's friends, family members, if you meet someone at an event and, it's someone that you just met and you get to talking about work, because people usually do, just working that into your conversations and enrolling anyone that you can into the app, it's going to create advocates for your business. So if you're helping people when there's no benefit for you, it's going to make people feel really good about you. Doing things now that will benefit your long-term business goals and not necessarily focus on instant gratification. So like I said, it's kind of a balance of the two. You want to have that long-term mindset and be doing things and stay the course and just have your eye on the prize, if you will, and just know that the things that you're doing are going to pay off. It's kind of the art of homeownership mindset in general. So the more that you can do good things and be good to clients and create value, the more that it's going to come back to you. And then hosting virtual or in-person events around your value proposition. This doesn't have to be the only thing that the event is centered around, but we see a lot of advisors, especially with the given market, hosting these events, whether it's virtual or in person, about what's happening in the market. Is it still a good time to buy? This could be for your realtor partners or consumers, and make sure to drive home how you're different. And, you can even have a little introduction to the session and just talk about what you stand for in business, what your mission is. That really, because everyone on this call is a different style of mortgage professional that is superior to the rest of them, because they are very transactional, and that's how I think a lot of mortgage professionals are perceived. So if you step up and show something different, that's going to be really impactful, because it is nearly unheard of in the industry. So that is our 2023, like I said, baseline. This is what you should be doing with Art of Homeownership if you want to just get started. Because again, I think that it's can be complex, but I think it's only complex if you make it that way. It's really just about learning the system, making sure that you're confident with it and you're sold on it, if you will, because it's going to make it so much more impactful when you're having those conversations with realtor partners or financial advisors or clients. So that's really the first step in getting started and being impactful with the platform and the mindset and the business model. And we obviously want to see you guys do really great things with it in 2023. So any way that we can help, we are more than happy to. Feel free to reach out to our team. But we're going to open it up. We wanted to have a little Q&A or just any comments or wins that you've seen with Art of Homeownership, so we can answer those questions in real time or get other feedback for the group. Or Jared, anything that you would add to that?
I just want to follow up on your last few bullets, Val. I think it's so important to, devote as much time and energy as you can to becoming an AOH master, because the more and more confident you are in the platform, the more and more you're going to be excited to get your clients engaged. And that, I've said it a million times on this call, but, really getting down that muscle memory and, just training your brain to know and want to utilize this as much as you can, not only with your clients, but as Val was just mentioning a few moments ago, is, this is just a huge, enormous opportunity, with your real estate, your partners as well, your real estate agents, your contractors, what Val said, going to HR departments is, a lot of the individuals I've spoken with personally is, they're saying, oh, 2023 is the year I need to dial in my real estate agents. I need to dial in my real estate agents. And this is just, I know it's the common terminology amongst AOH is like, this is your unparalleled value proposition. This is what you need to, drive all throughout 2023 is really becoming confident in talking this, in delivering this, in keeping your clients engaged, far after the transaction, all throughout 2023. That's, as we anticipate the market taking some significant turns here, this is going to be huge, Q2, Q3, Q4, and then even into 2024. So this is, I'm excited to help you folks, become more and more confident with this as each day goes on.
I love it. It doesn't look like we have any questions or comments, but as I said before, we will, as always, send out the recap, and keep an eye on that recap because we're going to be including links to schedule. I'll also include a link to schedule with myself. So depending on where you fall, if you feel like you need a confidence boost with Art of Homeownership and you want to work through some of that, Jared is a great resource. So we'll include his scheduling link. And if you're at the point where you feel confident, you can talk about it, but you want to push it and get a little more traction, I will be holding sessions to actually record content with you. So I'll edit and turn that into postable content. So there's really not a heavy lift on your end of things. So don't worry about, if you're nervous about recording content. I know it can be intimidating at first, but we will be offering those two sessions as well. So we'll include that in the recap. And if anyone has questions in the meantime, always feel free to reach out to our team. But we're excited for 2023 and we can't wait to see what you all do with Art of Homeownership. Any parting words, Jared? We ready to kick it?
I just hope you all have a wonderful holiday season, and I look forward to speaking with many of you. And I highly encourage you to take advantage of both Val and I's time as we can, really help you folks deliver this and use it better than ever as we enter the new year.
All right. Have a good new year, everyone. We'll see you in 2023. Bye, guys.